having a no phone day or like a landline phone day, and not being around it, not having it within my reach is great. At nighttime I have pretty good boundaries. With my phone, I don't keep it like on my nightstand, I keep it away from me. I'm trying to get better, because especially right now, it's like our brains were not designed to consume all of that. But it's kind of cool because when I don't have my phone, I feel like I get into creative mode more easily. Like I get into the creative flow more quickly, I find, when my phone is completely away from me, which forces me to do things like pick up the camera or design something. I will allow myself to go onto my big computer, but I'm literally just in my design suite, like designing. I'm not doing anything like social. I'm not consuming anything. I'm just creating. Or I might have like a thought that I want to write about, and I'll start doing that. And it's just like, dang, we don't realize, like, if you are consuming too much, you are creating so much less, because your energy is being drained and your mind is distracted. So when you can come back to the present moment and tune into yourself, then you're more open to get that creative flow going and those juices going, or that inspiration. So it's just so much better. So much better. Anyway, my kids are jumping on the trampoline with their friend, and I need to cook, but I don't know what to make. I was sitting here thinking about healing. I've been talking to so many people about healing lately. I'm in like kind of just in a hard place, or like I'm in like a really tender inner layer of pain. I'm working through something right now that's just really has been difficult. It was just kind of making me ponder our healing experience and kind of what it's been like since leaving the South and being out here. We've been out here for 3 years in Colorado, where we live now. Like, I want to say that our healing really began in 2021 when we were doing CBT therapy. It was super helpful for us. Like, it was the first time we had ever gone deep with like a professional who's like trained to see, you know, patterns and to bring things into awareness, and an objective, you know, third party that could help us navigate, you know, through like infant loss and through just hard things in life. And that was so helpful for us. And there's so many different healing modalities and so many different personalities, and everyone has to do what ultimately they feel is aligned for them, like what feels good for them. But in my opinion, CBT for me could only get so deep because it was a lot of like logic and understanding, and it wasn't so much like somatic. It wasn't like in the body or addressing kind of stored trauma or anything like that. And I'm such a fan now of somatic therapy. It's so weird what gets demonized inside of these super strict, you know, Southern Christianity that I'm from. Like I remember like somatic therapy being like demonized in certain circles that I was in. That's like just a memory. But being able to get into the body really started for me with mushrooms and plant medicine, because I was just so disconnected from my body. I was so disconnected from myself. And so the mushrooms really helped me to reconnect back with like my whole self. And that includes, unfortunately, just pain and trauma and repressed. I was such a suppressor. That was my coping mechanism. Just suppress everything and avoid it. And so now I'm dealing with, you know, you start healing and you open those floodgates, and like, it's not all the time. The mushrooms really opened me up to being able to experience and witness my trauma so that it can be released out of the body to kind of finish out that fight or flight cycle that was never allowed to complete because I would suppress everything and ignore it. Turns out you can only do that for so long. And I mean, actually no, some people go their whole lives without ever addressing their pain, but it does direct aspects of your life. Like your trauma just will direct your path if you're unaware of it, because it affects so much about your patterns and your personality and your energy and your opportunities and all of these things. A lot of my healing since beginning plant medicine has been like returning home to myself. That's what it feels like. It feels like a very slow sort of unraveling all of the things that I was programmed to think and believe and who I was supposed to be and what the expectations were, and all of these layers kind of like shedding off layer by layer. And when that happens, you get to like these really tender spaces of healing that for me, it kind of feels like a bubbling up sort of sensation. Like now that I'm not suppressing anymore, and now that those pathways have been established, that, oh, we're actually completing our trauma cycles now, which includes feeling our pain. Now that that pathway has been established, like when my body feels safe enough and ready to feel an emotion or a memory that has been repressed, it will just kind of bubble up to the surface, and I can usually feel it in my body, like physically. And then I'll feel kind of the emotion rise in my chest. And I know now that all I need to do is like sit with it, witness it. The further along I go, the more I am myself. Like every layer that comes off brings me one step closer to my authentic self. And that includes like honoring my authentic self-expression, like honoring the things that hurt me have to be addressed, like the things that are neglectful have to be addressed. And that includes the things going out of me, and that includes the things coming into me. So much of my healing has just been like shedding like all of these layers, and then discovering who I am, and discovering aspects of me that have been hiding away. And it's been so beautiful and so like empowering, and like it has brought to life so much more creativity. Like it keeps enriching my life. But sometimes I'll go like 3 to 6 months of not doing any mushrooms at all. Like I'm not, like I don't drink. I'm not just like doing mushrooms all the time. I honestly like sometimes have an aversion to them. And usually when that happens, I know that there's probably some pain inside that is ready to come out, because it almost turns into like a fear. Like, oh gosh, I'm scared of like doing mushrooms. And so typically when I feel that, I know that it's time. And usually when that happens, it opens, you know, just a deeper layer. And so that's just been kind of ebbing and flowing for these past, since July, not last July, but the July before that. That's kind of what it's been like for me. Chris has been on this path as well with me, but like just at a different pace. And we are coming up against, you know, like different pains and just like things from the past. Like we've been through so much trauma together. Like it's just crazy. And it's like, I know that I can do hard things, and I know that I can advocate for myself the way that I need. And I know that I can love myself the way that I need to be loved. And realizing the ways that you haven't been doing that, or that you've neglected to do that, or you've abandoned yourself or betrayed yourself, or just, yeah, like not been my authentic self. Like the ways in which I've done that, and it has harmed me, it's hard to face. Like it's hard to face that I like truly didn't love myself enough to take my own pains seriously. Like, and you can't beat yourself up, and that's not what I'm doing. It's just I'm aware of it now. Like I'm bringing so much awareness there and understanding that pattern. Like that's a self-sabotage pattern, and I don't want to do it anymore. So, hey puppies. Hello, Mr. Moo Moo. Hello, Mr. Moo Moo Cow. Do you need some snuggles? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're going in. We're going in. We're going into the snuggles. This life is better. This site is better. It's just like there's a little bit of a backlog. You know what I'm saying? There's like a backlog of feelings. And can you see my dog right now? Look at my dog. Oh, that was a big one. That was a big yawn. There's just a lot of feelings right now, and that's okay. And we're just taking care of ourselves, aren't we? And we're resting a lot, and we are creating things because that feels good. And we're not on our phone. Nope. We're doing this. We're talking to a camera. He's just like, he thinks he's a lap dog, and he's like a big dog. Good job, buddy. Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. You're so baby. I want to close out this video by talking about some hard lessons I've been learning as a former people pleaser / hyper independent / avoidant person. And I specifically want to talk about how this has impacted my marriage, because this is one of the patterns that Chris and I are working through right now. And it's been hard, but also good to step into a deeper layer of honesty and vulnerability together.
In so many ways, my habit of over-functioning for other people in order to manage emotions or outcomes has really come back to bite me in the butt. We never want to shame ourselves for the coping mechanisms that we developed out of necessity, but there also comes a point in time where it's in our best interest to shed those old coping patterns in order to replace them with healthier ones. To put it bluntly, when we overfunction for others or rationalize their harmful patterns, we're actually doing them a big disservice because we are allowing them to bypass the natural consequences of an unhealthy behavior versus letting the natural consequence be the teacher that pushes them or us towards growth. Let's take a real life parent-child example from my own life, just for simplicity. A huge part of learning and growing is making mistakes and failing and letting people down. We learn through these experiences. The happy and the breezy times of life are great, but as cliche as it sounds, we know that deep down we see so much more transformation and growth through the difficult times. So let's say I'm a mom to a child who has a habit of leaving toys they care about outside in the weather and then they get ruined. Like it's just a pattern that happens over and over and over again. I could remind my kids until the cows come home that their treasured belongings are going to get destroyed if left out in the weather for multiple days in a row. But if I'm the one who is constantly then going around after them and picking up what they've forgotten, I am bypassing their lesson of caring for the things that matter to them. In this scenario, always picking up what they don't want to pick up is enabling them to be careless with their belongings because I'm always the one picking them up and I'm always the one bringing them inside to safety. Yes, it really sucks to watch your kids be disappointed, like so upset that an electronic toy they care about got ruined by being left outside in the rain. Like that totally stinks. And of course we are here to help guide and remind them, but some lessons do have to be learned the hard way. Our kids know that if they don't care for their gifts, we aren't just going to blindly replace them. But if I'm going around and making sure all of their things are safe and sound all the time, they're never going to learn how to properly look after and take care of what matters to them. Unfortunately, I had a habit of over-functioning like this, even in my relationship with other adults, including my partner, and I was rarely allowing the natural consequences of maladaptive behaviors to run their course because I was either taking matters into my own hands or excusing the behavior or doing too much hand-holding for them to meaningfully address it. I had to get really honest about the ways that I was actually enabling more harm to come my way by swooping in to fix things that were not mine to fix and not mine to excuse. By doing this over and over again, I was allowing harmful patterns to continue until I reached a breaking point of frustration and burnout over carrying the weight of too much that was not mine to carry. We have to learn how to let people do their work. Let them see the natural consequences of their actions. Let them know that something is causing you pain and that it needs to be reconciled in one way or another. I had to take responsibility for the role that I am playing in my own pain and in the pain that I'm allowing in by refusing to let people do their own inner work. To be so honest, there is very little motivation for a person to change a maladaptive behavior that's comfortable to them when they constantly get a free pass to keep doing it without consequence. It's a hard lesson to learn, but has been an empowering motivator to continue to advocate for a healthy relationship, both with myself and other people.